From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Welcome back to Talking Ted, presented by Bear-Fied Whiskey. This week, subways, bicycles, and automobiles. The one where the gang celebrates Halloween while Susan tends to Maddie's ostrich bite. My name is Mike Richards.
And my name is Jessica Lynn Verdi. Mike, this is an episode that is all about imbibing, as are we, responsibly, of course, thanks to Bear-Fied Whiskey. I don't know if Blaire's drink of choice is as refined as ours is, because I think when you're in college, beggars really can't be choosers, you know?
Yeah, Blaire's probably drinking a lot out of like whatever garbage can they just hosed out and poured every bottle they had into.
I mean, don't they do a keg stand with a teddy bear too, or something like that?
Ted had no problem imbibing or being imbibed off of, if I remember this episode correctly.
That's exactly right. You know what I really love about Bear-Fight though is that I'm genuinely a whiskey drinker, and I think if this was given to me 10 years ago, my palate wouldn't have been ready for Scotch. And while I hesitate to say that this is a full bore Scotch, this is the greatest introduction to somebody who is like Scotch curious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm typically a vodka drinker.
Okay.
And it's just, I've been, Stoli, Absolute, Finlandia kind of thing. So for me, this is new, and this is an American single malt whiskey, but it's oaky. It's got a little hint of sherry and vanilla in it. And it's delicious. In fact, I'm just sampling mine neat just to enjoy the flavors as they are in kind of an unaltered state.
I was excited about this episode, subways, bicycles, and automobiles, just because I'm a huge planes, trains, and automobiles fan. I don't know that subways actually play a factor in this episode at all. Am I wrong in recounting?
That's a really good fact check on that. I did not see a subway.
A subway? Because they go to McDonald's. They don't go to Subway. Although that running joke of the flaming apple pie is it's just such a universal experience and so funny that they throw the apple pie and it catches fire.
If anybody doesn't get that joke because they haven't experienced that themselves, I simultaneously feel sorry for you for not being able to enjoy the joke, but I'm also a little bit envious because they didn't get the roof of their mouth burned in that singular way that only a hot apple pie can do.
Only. So do us a favor before we kind of get into a couple of our favorite moments from the episode, alongside the scorching hotness that is an apple pie months later. Give us a little recap of what happens in episode 4 of Ted.
All right. As I've said before, my main goal on this podcast is not to lose my day job.
Okay.
Armed with 20 dozen eggs, don't worry, the math checks. The boys are looking forward to educating the local kids on what makes an acceptable Halloween costume. But before they can hit the roof, Blaire approaches Ted to be her designated driver for the night. Payback for the whole genital hospital thing. Frecka, 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 Macarena. Frecka, 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 Macarena. And Ted reluctantly agrees, but promises Johnny he'll be back by 9 p.m.
Sure.
Sure. What could possibly go wrong? At the Halloween party, let's just say Ted is not the model designated driver. When it's time to go, they run into Blaire's professor, who invites them to his place for a DHB salad sans croutons. Meanwhile, Susan invites Will to come over and hang with Johnny. Will's about 40, lives at home, drinks Zima, and draws his own porn. Okay, enough said about Will. On their way home, Ted and Blaire crash the car, burn their mouths, and walk back to Professor Furry's house to use his phone. Finding the bounds of Ted's whimsy, Ted and Blaire depart on the professor's moped and ET their way home just in time for Johnny to nail them with an ostrich egg, which was recently obtained in the C-plot. With the egg on the other foot, Ted rethinks their Halloween ritual and tells Blaire that even though she can be a bit of a buzzkill, he kinda had fun that night. The end.
Oh, that is I love. There are many plots going on during this episode, and I really love that recap, Mike. Thanks for that. What I really love about this show, just in general, and the movies too, is that they're really not afraid to go there, and they did go there by allowing Ted to drive drunk. And I love the joke of it's like a video game. I neither on the record or off the record can I say I know what he's talking about, but it's dangerous comedy at its best, and this episode really embodies that, I think.
It is. And, as we see and as we've talked about before working together, is that, sort of at the end of the day to these folks do the right thing. And I think they always rise to the occasion, and that's what makes this show so much fun.
God, I don't know a single human or teddy bear that's come to life that hasn't made a couple mistakes or bumbled their way through something or walked out of a situation, go, wow, I'm lucky to be alive. And maybe I won't make that mistake again. And then makes the mistake a couple more times and then does the right thing, I think. Yeah,
but learning a lesson is there's repetitions involved, right?
Thank you.
You don't just teach somebody something once. You don't give somebody one math problem and expect them to know how to do that operation. You give them 50 math problems. And that repetition
I keep telling my boyfriend.
Is what helps people learn.
I will learn how to put the dishes in the dishwasher properly eventually.
But there's a certain number of repetitions required before that behavior sinks in. And this show recognizes that.
We definitely don't see a wizened Ted until even in the ensuing movies about driving drunk. But this is a very fun episode. I'm really excited to get to our guest. They're gonna join us after a quick break here. Mike, any other thoughts you want to share about this episode today?
Just a lot of fun, great Halloween episode, and I'll see you back here with our guest Giorgia Whigham.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, Jess. Hey folks, we're here to talk to you about Bear Fight Whiskey, how much we've been enjoying it, and how you can enjoy it yourselves.
I'm a whiskey drinker through and through, and I think I have found my new favorite go-to in Bear Fight Whiskey. It's a little bit of scotch, it's a little bit of bourbon, it's a little bit of grape, and we want to extend a discount to you so you can sip right along with us.
Bear Fight Whiskey is an American single malt. It's one of the most awarded single malt whiskeys in the U.S. It's a simple recipe, it's a fantastic flavor, and it goes great with anything.
So head over to bearfightwhiskey.com, type in BF20 at checkout, and get yourself $20 off of shipping.
And now, back to the show.
Welcome back. We are here to talk about episode 4 of Ted with our special guest, Giorgia Whigham, who is, as you know, Johnny's cousin, or Mike, how did you put it in one of our last episodes?
Your brother's wife's kid.
Yep.
Twice removed.
Twice removed and hardly connected by blood. Just the smallest amount of blood. Did you know that there's a family out there of identical men who married identical women and whose kids qualify as brother and sister because it's as twins, because or not twins but like literal siblings, because it's the same DNA.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to open this episode of talking to you about episode.
Yeah, and the episode, by the way, is episode 4, Subways, Bicycles, and Automobiles. That's the one where the gang celebrates Halloween while Susan tends to Maddie's ostrich bite, which we will never mention again.
No.
Yeah, Scott will kill you.
So I feel like this is, that has to be a fun thing to talk to him about, is literally he has to show his butt with these bite. I can't. Listen, what we won't do for acting. I would say this is a Blaire episode, wouldn't you?
It's definitely centered around her Halloween night experience. Yeah, I would say.
There's definitely some weird, questionable pedophile situations going on with Carol's son.
Yeah.
And, you know, Max is going through his own existential crisis of whether he can be separated from his teddy bear. You know what I kind of love too, and we didn't talk about this when we had you on last, is obviously Ted has gone on his like celebrity tour and has come back, and like nothing has ever changed either. That's what's kind of nice.
Right.
But there's so much fun stuff, and you just look absolutely fabulous as the Catwoman.
Oh,
it is.
thank you.
You are a killer in that.
Thank you. I mean, they made that like suit for me, so that was really cool. I was like,
do you own it now? You should.
No, I don't, but I'm sure it's somewhere. And if we do go back, I would, you know, that would be a fun Halloween costume, because it would be like me playing Blaire playing Catwoman in real life.
That's actually, you'd be the hit of any party.
Kind of fun, right? It'd be kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. It'd be, yeah, no, it was good. I was so like scared to wear it though. I felt like exposed, you know. It was like weird, but
Oh, I bet it had to be just incredibly, you know, vulnerable and like you said, exposed. Yeah. Did that wear off at any point, like during the shooting of the episode, where you just kind of forgot, you know, got into the role and got into acting and just kind of forgot about it?
Absolutely, yeah. I was like, well, it's scary when something is made like custom for you, because you're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? Then there's no backup option. That's mainly why I was like kind of like nervous, intimidated. Once we did like the first day of shooting, I was so comfortable in it, and it was like, it's like a second skin. Like it was great. So
it looked, it did not look, you weren't over sexualized in it, just as like you were just Catwoman, which was so fun. Yeah. And I think I would be worried. Like I actually did I'll cut this out, but I did a shoot for Ross, and they put me in this pleather jacket, and I started sweating from head to toe, and one person's job the whole time was just to cool me down. Yeah. So was it a hot outfit?
It was well, thankfully when we were shooting it was really cold, so weirdly enough it kind of had almost the opposite effect. Like it wasn't thick, it was kind of, I don't even remember the material. It was like stretchy and kind of like
pleathery kind of.
Kind of, exactly. And it was a little thinner than I realized, and it would get really cold, and so it worked. Yeah, no, thankfully it wasn't during, you know, 100-day summertime. That would.
Where did you guys shoot? Where were those locations?
That was in. Sorry, my cat just meowed.
Oh, we're used to that.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm sorry that we were in Universal Studios on the back lot, and then we were also for some random certain scenes, we would film in Chatsworth.
I'm from Chatsworth.
Are you?
That is my literal
everything
hometown.
leads back to Chatsworth.
I absolutely knew you guys were at Chatsworth.
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting place to film something.
It's an interesting place to be from.
Yeah, I bet. No,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that was where like the professor's house was, exterior or interior, and then interior and exterior actually. Yeah. And then kind of just, I'm trying to remember if there was any, we shot, it was a different episode though. We shot in Pasadena a little bit, but mainly Universal. Yeah, mainly Universal.
Now, as far as Halloween goes, what's your personal level of enthusiasm from zero to putting on a Catwoman suit?
Oh my God.
You know, of your own Halloween enthusiasm?
Always. I dress up like 100%. I'm already planning my costume for this year.
Oh, so you're like full bore.
That's like 6 months away.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm already planning, and like I already have ideas, and it's going to become about narrowing it down and like stopping myself from being like, that would be a great one, you know, because I already have so many options. But what did I do last year? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? 1 year I was Layla from Buffalo 66, which is like this Vincent Gallo movie. And that was probably one of my favorite costumes of all time.
This is so obscure, and I love that's how detailed your brain goes.
Yeah, and then I was, I forget the lead character's name, but Samara Weaving from Ready or Not, that movie where she's like, she got married and then the family's trying to like kill her and ridiculous.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, so I was her. That was fun. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on last year's? Anyway, maybe it wasn't that good. That's why. But
well, I'm sure it was. Were you familiar with Watcher in the Woods, that 1980 Disney classic?
Oh yeah, that movie
okay, good.
For life. That movie was
I've never heard about it.
yeah,
before.
you either have and you're petrified or you haven't and it's kind of like, oh, whatever. Yeah, no, I had actually brought that up to Seth in a previous conversation, like before we even shot the show, and I was like, have you ever, and he was literally, or we were talking about scary movies and stuff, and because I love scary movies, and he was like, those are all fine and dandy, but have you ever seen Watcher in the Woods? And I had like a visceral reaction, and I was like, like I forgot about that movie, and it brought me back to being like 10 years old, and I remember exactly where I was when I watched it. So I was like, I don't know where or when, but you have to put that in something because that. And then he asked a bunch of people, and they all had the same reaction. So super funny.
Oh, I love that because it is a very funny moment for some. So my boyfriend and I were watching the show, and he goes, "What the hell is this movie?" And I was having the same reaction as him.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those inside jokes that Seth likes to put in things. Like if you,
but it works though too because you believe it's still it does speak to the innocence of. Because like you expose in the porn episode, you expose them to the French film, but it does speak to the naivete of like these guys are just young and they're all just like trying to navigate this world.
Exactly.
It's so sweet. Yeah. Do you have any favorite moments from this episode that stick out to you when shooting or like the final product?
Yeah. Well. Finally, funny enough, the last shot that I ever shot in the whole like process, like my last day and my last scene was me with Ted on the bike in front of a blue screen when we're going through town. So that had like a sentimental value to me because I got off and I started crying, and so that was really cool. But speaking of the bike, the scene where I get decked with the ostrich egg, that was not me, thankfully. But I have a video of like somebody filmed it actually happening in real time, and we see our first AD holding it, getting ready. And I don't know how he did it. He did it on the first try. He had an ostrich egg and he was ready. He just went boom and he tucked it. And she went down. And Seth goes on the big microphone and goes, "You all right?" And she's like this. And me and my friends send that to each other back and forth sometimes when they're like making fun of me because it looks like me. And so that was really funny. It wasn't.
That sounds awesome. How far away were they standing when they threw it?
It was like he was far. I don't know how he did it.
That's crazy.
We all couldn't believe it. We were like, "Is he okay? Why did he?"
And they used a real ostrich egg.
Well, it was a prop, but it was like filled with stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone on the set was like, how in the hell did that happen?
This is what happens when you have professionals that are ready to do whatever they need.
Ready to step in.
Or it's like a bunch of people with pent up anger. They're like, I want to go home. Like
it was a 3 a.m. shoot, I'm sure.
It was really late. Yeah.
I'm sure.
And that's really interesting that was your last scene, because I see this and I love it so much because it's a Blaire and Ted buddy episode.
Yeah.
You know, where he owes you a favor because of the you bailing him out over the Susan finding the porno or the porno. I love that you guys got to work together in this one and just really kind of bond. And then Ted at the end says, although we think of you as kind of a buzzkill, I kind of had fun tonight.
Yeah, it was that was a really special episode. It was just a lot of fun to do some solo work, which was cool just because there's not really the bear there, but like to kind of
sure,
so it was a lot of solo stuff.
Now they usually held like a prop and somebody offline off screen reading the lines, I would imagine.
Seth was always reading the lines in voice, so it sounded like you were talking actually to Ted, which was really helpful. But you're not looking at anything. You're just kind of like looking right there and just imagining, something's there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was. It depends. If he's off, then they'll give you a practical bear. But if he's in the same shot as you, then you can't have anything there.
There was that one shot for the seventh episode when Johnny's on the conversation with the girl. She's breaking up with him, and you were batting away fake bear arms, right? That was fun.
Yeah, that I know we're not talking about that episode, but that was so funny because we all started to get really comfortable, and so when that started happening, I was hitting nothing, and and I was kind of like, how much is that going to cost you if you have to add him in and like doing that? Because the moment the bear touches you or you hand something to the bear, it's a whole nother setup. Like we had this girl Allie who was kind of one of the bear wrangler almost. Like she put up these these mittens, and so yeah, it was cool.
That's a very conscious question because even when the 7th episode's over, I found myself going, I just need like 2 more. But then that bear costs way too much money.
Yeah.
And so we just got to be really... I have to ask you this question. Why do you think we love a show about a talking teddy bear so much? Or a movie? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about the American culture or Mike and myself that we love? And actually,
Hey, the Ukrainians love it too.
Ukrainians?
Who's that?
Over in the UK.
Oh, Canadians. I was like, what did I miss?
Who absorbed who and
like,
who lost?
No, but me too. I mean, why did I was dying to be part of this so badly because it's epic. And yeah, you do have to wonder. I think the absurdity of it is something that we just don't, the absurdity matched with the realness. Like typically it's either one or the other, but this one you have a teddy bear who came to life, but he also smoked pot, which is like funny, but like that, and he,
but realistic.
Yeah. And he like has friends, and I think also just the accent and the way he speaks and holds himself, I think is just very entertaining,
And it's just so counterintuitive, right? You've got a cute little teddy bear that ends up being like just the most gruff,
exactly,
profane,
right,
potty mouthed.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like if it was like Dennis the dump truck, it wouldn't be so endearing, almost,
Yeah, and I think I genuinely love in the series overall, but that Ted is genuinely Johnny's best friend, and he's never like too mean to him. It's always loving.
Yeah,
and I think I do love the Blaire effect in the TV show too, because it does give Johnny somebody that's also looking out for him, but caring a little bit more than like, hey, let's get into this problem together.
And it's funny because there were 2 lines in the show. One was, where you were talking about being sort of a role model or in a position to be a role model to the boys meaning Ted and Johnny. And then when Ted says, yeah, I know I failed as a kind of Jiminy Cricket kind of character.
Yeah, so good. Oh my god. Yeah, the writing's genius, and I think that all of that combined is what makes him so watchable and lovable.
What would you like to see for Blaire, for Johnny, for Ted, for the family in a season 2?
I'd love to see. I thought it was really fun to see a little bit of Blaire's personal life this season. I think it'd be kind of cool to explore that a little more. I would love to see Johnny like have a steady girlfriend. I think that'd be so funny because I think that there's a lot of like advice that he would want from Blaire.
That's a very cute idea.
I really liked his prom date. I was rooting for those 2 crazy kids.
Me too. I know. And then I also think sorry, my cat.
No, it's okay.
She's like,
it's food time always.
That's okay. She's fine. I'm trying to think what else. I think just like, again, yeah, it goes hand in hand with that, but exploring their dynamic as like tight brother-sister bond, and also her and Ted's kind of, headbutting a little bit. She's a little bit annoyed with him, more so. And yeah. So
I have a horrible question that I can't stop my brain from asking. We learn that the professor in this episode is interested in teddy bears.
Yeah.
He's a furry.
He's a furry, yeah.
I mean, we all watched that.
I guess I shouldn't say he was furrying that night. That's really all we know.
Whimsical.
Might have been his first foray.
He was sexually
into the
whimsical.
furry lifestyle. Yeah,
he was wild. Yeah.
So
we found out the bounds of Ted's whimsy in this one.
It was a really fun twist. We learned that Blaire's fluid does that. Could there be a romance plot between Ted
Don't
Blaire.
say that. No.
I'm sorry. Because you guys go to prom together and I was like, I could
know.
see it. It kind of works.
Oh.
I know that there's like, it's like, you guys aren't blood.
No,
That's why I
know.
couldn't stop myself.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
She would, honestly, I think she would rather die. I'm sorry.
Great. Great. Listen, I don't need to ship another couple, and so that's all the information I needed.
we have failed quite a few ships on our podcasting history.
To bridge our Orville show to this show, I do think there's a future for Jay Lee's character and yours in Orville season 4. I do think so.
Don't forget, her planet is where he lost the music.
I mean, the way that they left it, I'm on the ship. That's all I.
Yeah.
And unless they drop me back off in the intermission, in middle between the two seasons, as far as I know, Lucella would be there. But
I don't think they can. You know too much.
I know, or I know they gotta figure it out.
So back to that. I don't know. Furry 3-way that Jess was, or furry 2-way that Jess was just suggesting.
I regret everything.
I was wondering how was Max jealous at all when he found out that you had a Blaire and Ted buddy episode, or I imagine he was
oh my god,
pretty cool about that. He got to hang out with Will all night.
Max had so much fun that episode because he made a dear friend in Will. That was like the two of them got along so well, and no, he loved it. He thought it was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a lot of dangerous comedy in the series and this episode, and I really appreciate, I think that's what I really enjoy about Seth's work and the people that he chooses to surround himself, like with Alana and Scott, like these people who know how to toe this line of like dangerous, but not pulling the punch toward anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's that, and there's, a lot of people say, okay, like, how do you rate these characters that are so racist or whatever or mean? And he's like, well, the thing is, we're making fun of those kinds of people. That's what it is you're not saying like, okay, here's this amazing stand-up guy. It's more like you can't help but laugh at them, just how ridiculous they are. So
yeah.
Well, good satire does shine a light on that kind of ridiculous behavior. And when you see, Maddie, for example, and how he acts, like that's not a commercial for acting that way. That's not an endorsement for being that way. It's shining a light on the ridiculousness of what he's saying. And I think that's great. And at the end of the day, I think these folks do the right thing. I mean, look at, our callback to episode 1 where, Ted gives up his prized mouthpiece worn by Sylvester Stallone. And in this one where, the two of you get through a very challenging night together and then, kind of bond over it, over a little, McDonald's apple pie fire in the attic.
Exactly. Explosive pie. Yeah.
Genuinely one of my favorite jokes of across any series.
So true. We have all burned our mouths
very good.
on a McDonald's apple pie.
So before we wrap things up, anything else you want to share about this episode with us? Or like anything else like about season 2 or what else you're working on?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Things have been pretty, we as actors and everybody, we were going through the strike. So that was pretty, a long, tough experience. But now just kind of waiting, honestly, right now to hear more on this. There's a film I might go do this summer, which would be in Chicago. And so fingers crossed, I would actually be producing it. So hopefully that pans out. It's a new venture for me in producing and stuff like that, but it's something I'm really interested in. So, and just in terms of the show, I mean, just wrapping it up, it's just an amazing group of people. And I think that our chemistry as a family shows on screen. And so I hope that people laughed as much as we laughed when we made it. So, and yeah.
That's what I heard. I mean, Seth was just on the Mike Henry show, who Mike had a cameo in episode 1,
with
where he was the banker.
With
the adult diapers was so funny.
That was ridiculous.
And Seth was like, look, you want every production to be, sometimes it's like, man, we had a blast making it, but nobody watched it. Sometimes it was like, it was hell to make, but, it was really successful. And you want it to be both of those things. And he specifically cited Ted, and they weren't even talking about Ted, specifically. And he was like, Ted was like that. It was fun to make, and it's been very successful.
Yeah.
So that's great. If people want to kind of follow you and hear more about your the film you're potentially producing or will be producing, where can folks find you online?
So I only have one form of social media, but it's on Instagram, and it's at Giorgia_Whigham. So just my name. But yeah.
We're so glad to have you join us and have a little bit of bear fight whiskey while we chat about this dirty potty mouth bear. And we're so glad to talk to you because it was a wonderful performance. And thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys so much. This has been a blast.
Thank you, Giorgia. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, you guys.
Thank you, the viewer and listener, for joining us and pouring yourself a glass of Bear Fight whiskey. Don't forget to look for the discount on shipping in the liner notes of this episode, thanks to Bear Fight Whiskey. Mike, I look forward to talking to you about episode 5, Desperately Seeking Susan, where we will have our special guest, Alana Ubach, with us.
We'll see you there, Jess. Cheers.
Cheers. Talking Ted is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Executive producer Rod Roddenberry and John Champion. Our website and your opportunity to comment and connect with us is podcast.roddenberry.com. This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.